Hi there, and welcome to this episode of The Eagle's Eye. I'm your host, Brooke Young, and today I am here with Shannon Brown, a journalism and digital media senior. Thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I just want to dive right in. I know that you're an Ashland native, but what kind of drew you to AU?
So I moved to Ashland when I was 6 years old with my mom and my brother, and Ashland is just home to me, I guess. I love the community, I love the people of Ashland, and I went to Ashland High School, and there we have an awesome video production program, and my mentor, Brad Carr, was our teacher. And so I kind of already knew that, you know, I loved Ashland and I loved video production, and so I just kind of, when I realized that AU had such a good journalism and digital media program right in my backyard, basically, I was like, why would I not, you know, stay here? And just with all the connections I have to people in the community, I just thought, you know, I didn't want to leave. So
It was just the perfect fit for you.
Absolutely, it was.
Yeah, and I know that you have two majors. You're a religion major and a JDM major.
Yeah,
Kinda
that's
tell
right.
me what drew you to both of those very different departments.
Yeah, so when I entered in as a freshman, I started with a production major and then a religion and public relations minor. And yeah, I don't know. There was just something in me after I finished all the classes for my religion minor, my sophomore year. One of my teachers, my professors, she took me to Israel, like with a group from AU. And I just loved learning more about a religion that I was already a part of. And I just felt, in all honesty, I just felt like God was calling me into ministry in some form. Using religion as well as like production and those kind of skills. So I just felt like, why not keep learning, and I could still graduate on time while getting the major. So I just kind of thought, you know, why not?
So you're involved in JDM. What have you kind of been involved with here in the major?
So my approach to JDM was kind of like, I'm going to do a bunch of things that I have absolutely no idea how to do.
Me.
Yeah. So my freshman year, I started a radio show, which I had never done anything in radio before, called Chick Chat. And there was two other Ashland natives on the show with me. And we just had a lot of fun, talked about girl stuff, like things only girls care about. And it was just a really good learning experience. And again, like my favorite thing that my teacher in high school ever taught me was like how to teach myself how to do things. And so that's kind of the approach I've taken, is like I'm trying to teach myself how to get into something new without having to, like, you know, I don't know if that makes sense.
No,
So,
I know exactly what you mean. I have a mantra, there is no failure if you're looking to learn and grow. And I think that's kind of what you were saying.
Definitely.
In your answer. Do you have a favorite JDM memory or moment of some sort? And I know that's kind of a difficult question.
No, I was just thinking about this, and it is hard. There's a ton. JDM is actually one of those majors where it can be very difficult and very stressful, but it's also so fun. Just the people of JDM are like no other. They're just hilarious. They're so fun. But one of my favorite memories, I think, would have to be produce productions. If you probably aren't familiar with that, but my junior year, a couple other JDMers and I created this dumb, like, funny joke called Produce Productions, and we made a short film called Tomato Tomato. It's just like comedy about food, and then we just have kept doing projects based around this idea since then, and we're actually working on another radio show for it right now. So I think that's just been the most fun thing, because again, even in projects I've worked on, I don't typically tend to be like, oh, let me do something funny. It's more something I think that should be like serious or impactful and meaningful. So it's really fun to just get to like take a step back and just do something fun and silly. So yeah.
And I mean, being an Ashland native, you're probably involved a lot in the community. Can you touch on kind of your community involvement outside of the major here?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said before, I felt a huge push from God my sophomore year to pick up that religion major and kind of turn my skills towards like a ministry aspect as well. And my husband, I just got married in August.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Another fun fact. But he's a youth pastor at the church we both grew up in here in Ashland. And so that has brought on a lot of community involvement. We are totally engulfed in the youth ministry like together. So we like to, you know, go into schools and just talk to kids, and we stay busy with a lot of events and stuff like that. So we really just like to, reach out to families in the community that are struggling and stuff like that. So I would say just being in places in the community at all times, if that makes sense. We just kind of try and make ourselves known so people know that they can come to us if they need help. Yeah.
Your eyes really light up when you talk about that. You can see that you feel very passionate, that you're very called about it.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I just have one last question for you. I mean, you've acquired a lot of skills here and in your other major as well. What are you kind of looking to do as you embark in one of these fields in the future? You know, what are some of your dreams in the professional world?
For sure. Well, when I first entered AU, my big dream goal before I was at this place in my life and kind of knew where I wanted to take my life, I guess. I was really like, you know, I want to go into like Christian film in a sense, because I just felt like that was an area that really is often looked at as like cheesy or corny, and Christian movies are always like, just people don't want to watch them because they just think it's corny. So I just felt like films that were really raw and really real but still talked about God was like a place that I just felt a big call to, and it still is to a degree. But I think now that I'm at where I'm at in my life, I would love to even, I work kind of on a project basis for our church, and I make videos for them, and so even doing something like that on a full-time basis would I mean, it sounds kind of basic, but that's like a dream job to me, because, you know, I still get to do ministry and use my skills from, you know, JDM in that. So that would be ultimately like dream job if I could choose, but
Kind of combine the best of both worlds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for just sitting down with me today and sharing your smile with me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah. That concludes this episode of The Eagle's Eye. I'm your host, Brooke Young. Thanks for tuning in.